What's happening, everybody? We're back. It's me, the resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington.
I'm the swaggy blerd, Winston A. Marshall.
We are here once again for a little bit late review of Season 3, Episode 6 of Doom Patrol on HBO MAX. If you ain't seen it yet, you know the drill. Come on back, because there will be spoilers. We would have got this out earlier, but somebody had to go be at a wedding at an adult summer camp, and I'm assuming they had all the fun. So I'm just going to put you on blast.
Pretty drunk, and yeah, you really are just throwing me out there to the wolves, huh? Just the disrespect. It's like you threw me to a bunch of were-asses, you bitch.
Yeah, well, I guess so, man. Look, let's get, first of all, thank you to everybody who's been watching our reviews, everybody who's, commented, and everybody who enjoys the conversation and whatnot. People who add on a little bit of things we may have noticed, we may not have noticed, things what we got into that probably after we recorded that y'all don't realize. We're like, damn, we said that. And I don't feel like we can't re-record, like we didn't feel like trying to re-record and add shit, because I don't feel like trying to edit all this together for y'all. So you get what you get on this one take Jake from the both of us. Like it is
the one take Jake.
You get from this one take Jake. All right. One of the things I did bring, the reason I brought that up is in the last one, we were both under the impression that Kay was already up top. Mm-hmm. She wasn't as of yet. She wasn't. We find out that Jane finally was like, yo, go do what you do. And of course, Dr. Harrison, Pretty Polly, and I forgot the other one was like, yo, what are you doing? And she's like, yo, this girl has been trapped in her own mind for what, 70 years?
Yeah.
She's been trapped in her own mind for 70 years. Let her go see what life is. And of course, the reason the construct, and she was like, yo, the construct of what the underground is. Right. So let's just jump into this real quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is the reason the personalities are scared, do they think if Kate takes control of her life, they disappear?
That's not entirely how a lot of times
do they feel? Not saying do they feel?
No. I know, but I'm saying it's not necessarily how that full on works. But once you start to get to a place of like genuine healing, there is a possibility for them to disappear because they're made essentially as a safety mechanism,
right?
So so I would not be surprised at all if this is 1,000% for them. Jane is the only one doing what was actually the whole point, to protect Kay. The rest of them have gone into the. I would think it's a 50-50 split.
I just put on a bracelet, y'all. Y'all just watch me put on a bracelet. I felt like I was naked in the wrist. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had to acknowledge me pulling something with my teeth. Like I just felt like I need to acknowledge it. Go ahead.
So I bet there's like a 50-50 split of like some of the personalities that are like, I don't want to disappear. And others that may be genuinely concerned since she is actually still a kid. Because remember, she does something that only a kid would do, but an adult will get their ass whooped and or put in jail. And that she just sees a bike and she likes it and she takes it. I was waiting for some child or somebody to be like, that ain't yours. And then we got a real problem on our hands. I was just waiting.
I was thinking that was going to happen too. And then we see the interaction with the guy later on, and you're like, oh shit.
I also was waiting for that person to snatch her up and do horrific thing. I the whole time I was like, this is gonna go poorly. This is gonna go so fucking poorly. But so far we got lucky.
Again, so that was one of the things. But the biggest thing about this episode is Rita goes back in time, right? She ends up in 1917 in the Bureau of Normandy. I love this for several reasons. We get to see the Sisterhood of Dada before they're the official Sisterhood of Dada, but more so racism towards metas. Like, think about it. Rita tries to eat at the table after going through the intake process with Laura to find out if she's a dangerous meta or not, right?
No, 1,000%. And I would say the big thing more than anything, I mean, we already see that, as was the case, for example, with the X-Men, how that's supposed to be a massive metaphor for the civil rights movement. We're getting kind of a similar situation here with you realize, like, as Black folks integrated into white society, how they would do the exact same thing in the language that they would use, which to that point made me mad uncomfortable when it kept being a black girl that was like, she kept being like, look at them, they're disgusting.
But I think
But that's
But
the
I
point.
think,
I understand that's the
yeah,
point.
because I was like, that's genius level writing right there.
Yeah.
Because out of all the people that have said, to have a black woman say exactly what was said to black people during that time, like the exact tonality and word and verbiage, I was like, yo, because first of all, Rita sits down at the table, what the fuck is move? And of course, Rita, it's weird because now she had I guess because she's unconscious and has this level of amnesia from time travel, right? She has a level of control of her abilities. Because think about it, she
She's
was
not as self-conscious. Yes.
right,
Her abilities started to fall apart on her the minute she started doubting herself again.
right.
You saw while she's sitting at the table, her face starts to melt, which is bad. That's the sad part. As she freaks out, her body shuts down. And as her body shuts down, people freak out more, which then makes her freak out more, which makes her body shut down more. It's like this horrible cycle. But to be honest with you, let's be 100% real. We've both been very open on Blerds in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, about how
I see
we
what
have
you
had
did there. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Okay.
of how we are dealing with our own struggles with mental health and depression, and how a lot of this is its own cycle of self-sabotage. You feel a little bit of that, of like a low coming, you start to panic a little bit, you panic a little bit, the low gets harder, you panic even more, and so it's the exact same thing. So she ends up being a perfect metaphor for what happens for a lot of us when we end up in these holes, wherever they may show up one way or the other, which again, I think is just so brilliant how the show will take real life scenarios and will examine them through not just superheroes, but again, you got to remember with the Doom Patrol how weird they are through their just off the wall ridiculous
I mean, through the
issues.
lens of the Doom Patrol, because again, the absurdity of in each character is one thing, but the mental health aspect, if you will, has been something that has been discussed vaguely throughout the beginning of this series. Because how they mentally have to handle things. Again, Cyborg, I'm a hero. I'm a hero. Are you really? From the beginning, Cliff finally coming to accept, yeah, I'm a robot dude. And it's like, wait, what? Like you could be more. Jane with the personalities, Rita trying to accept that. Larry, again, the coming to terms with who he is. So she gets taken to the downstairs cafeteria by Lloyd, which we'll come to know as Cyclone, Frenzy later, right? Frenzy, excuse me. And all the rest of the sisterhood are down there, but they're not the sisterhood per se just yet. Because this is after Rita gets the gig where she's sorting newspapers, again, using her abilities comfortably with Sleepwalk. With Sleepwalk, before she's again, we don't know, we just see them in their regular modes per se before the whole change happens. We also see the origin of Piffle Paffle.
Exactly. We see the origin of Piffle Paffle, which we're then going to get a reference to at the end of the episode, like just all over. What is it? It's outside the manor, isn't it? Is that
No,
where
it's
that?
inside. It's inside.
It's inside the manor. That's right. It's over the fireplace.
Fireplace.
It's over
Yeah.
the fireplace. Right. So I mean, and that's the whole thing that'll be interesting as we learn from this episode that Laura, before she becomes Madame Rouge, Laura obviously has control over her abilities, and she seems to be on the side of the Sisterhood of Dada. So this was kind of like, because she was one of the co-founders, she was just working from the inside with the Bureau of Normalcy. Which makes you even wonder, do you think the Bureau knows about her abilities? Because again, she doesn't display it in front of them. She's just someone that's checking on metas.
I don't think they do. I don't think they would.
I don't think they would allow her to be. I don't think they would allow her to be in that position.
I don't think that she'd be in that position. No, what meta or not, she wouldn't be in that position. But it's going to be interesting as these episodes continue to go through the season. And I'll just say this: we find out where was the moment she started either working with the Bureau and said to hell with the sisterhood, or however the split comes, because we know.
We get a tease of the Brotherhood of Evil, because we see Mr. Mala and the Brain having an argument, and the Brain being like, "Yo," and then my plans are coming against you. Like, your plans? Yours?
And the Brain's like, yeah. We. I was like, I was so glad we got Mr. Mala again. You know what? Again, this is a testament to the budget that these HBO Max series are given. That they can do so much at certain levels. Again, Doom Patrol is like we can do a lot of practical effects. Our CGI doesn't have to be super high except for when it's needed. That's probably why we ain't seen the Negative Spirit. They was like, we gotta cut the CGI out the lightning dude. So we got to figure out what's going on with Larry somehow, some way. But to see that again, to see the sisterhood trying to explain to her, to Rita, yo, this is how we're treated. You're meta, blah, blah, blah. This is what you're, resolved to. You're not meant to be amongst everybody else. And Rita trying to tell them basically, fuck that. Yo, you deserve this just as much as anybody else. But again, in the midst of all of this, Cliff is out here, bro. Cliff Steele out here reckless, dog. Cliff buying everything. My man's is on 3 computer screens. He's cyber.
You don't need that many monitors unless you're editing or you're fucking out here like streaming on Twitch. And my guy has got his cam girl on one monitor, his poker game on the other, while he's doing all this other shit.
Man, a game in the middle, bro. And wait, the man. Here's the biggest question I need to ask, and maybe anybody else is watching this can help me understand this. Who the fuck Cliff get a credit card from? Like,
that's a good. I thought we remember him taking it. Did I imagine that? I thought I remember in another episode he took someone's credit card, but like somebody's gonna be pissed when this shit is over.
Oh, because dog.
I have to go back and rewatch the other episodes. I swear to God, I remember him grabbing and snatching somebody's credit card.
Dude, he ran up the money so much the cam girl was like, baby, you didn't went broke. Like, we can't.
You got
like,
nothing left.
You can sell maybe some of your roommate stuff. And he's like, what? And then he starts to realize he can sell Cyborg stuff because Cyborg is the legit hero out of this.
Well, not just that. So remember, Cyborg's going on his own little journey, and he's getting all like people out here taking them sneak photos you do with celebrities, being like, sorta hashtag sorta hiking with Cyborg, and he's just like, man, fuck this shit. That's when he sees that, like Cliff sees that on Twitter, and he goes, people gonna pay how much for some Cyborg shit? And so he was like, date with Cyborg. $6,000. Just like
the fact that he signed my man up for a date on auction, he ain't got damn clue about. Like, again, and that's crazy too because it makes me think back. I would like to see more Ronnie. We were building this whole thing up where we were probably gonna have the Lady Cyborg officially happen, and I don't know if Kara Nobalam's her schedule is, she was doing other things which couldn't allow her to film. But I would like to know where that story goes because I feel like we left it so open-ended. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If it makes sense. Yeah. But you got him, you got Vic having this. He's trying to come to terms with understanding things. Again, I've been in the afterlife. Like I've talked to my mom. His dad is like, boy, you out your fucking mind. You've been around these weirdos too long. But when he goes to the tree that his mom tells him about and sees all the rocks, that is the most emotional moment I think he's ever had. Like he's had these lash out emotional moments, but the moment of realization, like, wait, what again? Why am I Cyborg? That's that moment for him. Why am I the way that I am?
Yeah. I mean, again, and that was the thing that was put into the stratosphere as far as like why are you? That was said over and over again in the last episode. Why are you? And this is, again, as we have talked about, this entire show is about identity. It's coming to terms with your trauma, dealing with it, all that kind of stuff. But this is 1,000% a continuation for Cyborg and his quest as this is all going on. Because right now we're not getting a lot of why are you about Cliff. Again, we talked about Cliff. My nigga just out here spending the dollars because he just discovered the internet. Apparently.
Right.
But even Rita, in the fact you want to talk about the ultimate form of who you are and why you are, the fact that she has gone back and gotten this amnesia, she's having to do a whole new rediscovery of who she is. And again, that's the one thing that we all want sometimes is the idea to just let all of the things that are haunting us go.
That hold us down.
1,000%.
But here's the question. So again, we find out because I think the other guy's the absinthe that because we didn't see the absinthe in the Dada Patrol episode. And so she meets him, and okay, if that wasn't the wildest shit ever, I gave my heart away for a canary, and my man opened his chest up, and there's a canary cage in it. The thing is, at the end of the episode, she tells them, I'm gonna stay with y'all, right? Eventually, she's got to go back to the present time. Will she suffer amnesia again? That's something I'm wondering. Because again, it's this traveling through time causes amnesia.
But I think that that's exactly what happened with Madame Rouge, with Laura. I think the fact that she obviously came to this time, to the present time, and has no idea why the fuck she's here. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is one of those situations where that's exactly what's going to end up happening. And again, she's trying to piece it all back together. There's nothing really in that time period. I mean, maybe if Rita saw some old movies of herself, there's nothing there to cue her in specifically as to who she is, except her nickname right now, which is Bendy. The name that they have like dubbed her is Bendy.
Bendy. So cute. Another plot line that's, again, there's so many. There's a B, C, D, and E plot. There's like 4 or 5 different subplots going. Every other member of the Doom Patrol has a plot, basically. There's 4 of the plots going on. Larry and his son, where he is, he's like, yo, his son is like, you don't get to be my father, Again, they're both grown men. We've seen episodes prior where his son, Paul, thought that he was dead when Larry told him he was alive. He knew that the Bureau of Normancy was looking for his dad. He tried to turn his dad in. We remember that in season 2. And basically Paul telling Larry, no, I went through this on my own. I did this is me. Like, I chose to do, because, Larry thinking he had been kidnapped. And then for the lashing out moment where Paul's basically like, you don't get to say all this. And then Larry like, yo, dude, fuck you. Like, I kind of love it because it's that, again, coming to grips and understanding with yourself. He's like, I'm not going to keep apologizing to you. He's like, I'm not going to keep trying to say, I'm sorry for what happened and all these things. And I've been there. He's like, I understand how you feel, but I have said my piece.
It also from the standpoint of like, I understand how hurt Paul was. I mean, we all would be super fucking hurt to have our father just disappear for all of our life and then just pop back in. I mean, shit, you need proof. Other than the fact that we've all had I know for you, it was because you lost your father young. For me, just my dad, it took a while for us to come to terms just because he wasn't as available when I was a kid as he has been since I've been an adult. So there's a lot going on there that I totally understand where Paul's coming from. But this ain't no Will Smith's daddy and Fresh Prince situation where he keeps coming up with excuses.
You don't want me no more, man.
Yeah, ain't none of that. It's also not, Jamie Tartt's dad and Ted Lasso and the way he's trying to abuse him for his fame. This is 1,000% a situation where homie, like he said, I was radioactive. I couldn't come be with you and your brother and my wife. I couldn't do it because I literally would have killed you.
When he had to tell them, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, when he was like, do you know what it's like to take off bandages just to have to take a piss? I was like,
dude.
Because we don't think about these things.
And so it's one of those things where he was like, I can only apologize to you about the pain I caused you so much when you consider how out of control this situation has been. This has not been a scenario where I could come to you as trying to be like, hey, daddy's got this rare disease. You can never see or touch me again, nothing like that. He literally, the only thing he could do was just be gone in that regard. And the funny thing is, they thought he was dead anyway. So to act like this is a scenario where, whether it was that he was lost and now you found him or whatever, it's just, I don't know, man. I'm pure Team Larry at this point. I think Paul, while I understand his pain, is wrong. I just think he's wrong.
I agree. As a father, I've gone through things where I've had to try to explain to my kids. Of course, it's easier to explain things to my 17 will be 18-year-old than it is to my 8-year-old.
Sure.
Right? It's way easier.
Paul is like 90, nigga. He
okay, I was about to bring this. I was about to go there. This nigga's 90, okay? You need to let go and let God.
You are almost as old as Betty White, nigga. You need to figure it out, all right?
Yo, shouts out to a real one.
She almost 100, bro. I feel like I saw some. She's like 2 weeks away from 100.
No,
everybody better protect
like 2
her,
months.
bro.
It's 2 months.
2 months. Oh, not.
They said get her like
weeks. Okay.
Yeah, they was like get her security detail to make sure we need her to hit this hundo. Like, shouts out to Betty White. But the fact Larry had to tell his son, get out, like you get out, because he was like, I'm done. He's like, "Go get,
You
get,
get.
you get, go get." I died, get. Like he
I
was like,
said
"Well,
get.
he done told him so much. Like, there's only so much I can do,
Seriously.
you know." And again, so then you go back again, going through the different plots. The Jane plot with Kay, to watch Jane be happy, watching Kay be happy, speaks again the healing. I think we're starting to see that healing happening on so many levels because now, when it go like bring it back earlier to different personalities, the level of angst and anger they're bringing up, like a hammerhead is hammerhead. You know what I'm saying? Like hammerhead want to fight everybody. Don't give a shit, right? But Dr. Harris and all of them just being like, "Yo, we should control this." Like again, it's this fight for dominance in the underground.
Well, that's the other thing that's so interesting about the whole situation. Have you noticed that the actual greatest enemy to all of the Doom Patrol is themselves? And
Oh
it's not
yeah,
even necessarily the other people in the Doom Patrol. It is literally their
literally
own
themselves.
personal struggles. And the one that gets probably put the most on display, honestly, tends to be Jane because she is fighting every other personality that's in charge of Kay. But every single one of them, like Cliff's misery right now from what's coming from clicking on those pop-ups, bro, self-inflicted. Like I know they love to blame Niles, and Niles does have some shit to answer for. Let's be real. But because again, he was putting them in these situations so he could figure out how to live as long as he could so he could be with his daughter. Like
which
let's
is
not pretend
which is crazy because Niles is an asshole for a good reason. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying at the end? Because
Yeah.
it's like it's one of those for a good. I'm sorry, I should have said it with a question mark. For a good reason.
Reason exactly because that's the thing. I would say that the ends don't justify the means when you're dealing with a scenario of you are sacrificing other people's lives in order to do this. You know what I'm saying? Now mind you, he didn't drop Rita in that goop. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't shoot fucking Larry into that. He just saw these people that had this ability to potentially live forever and you use it as an opportunity to kind of be like, okay, let me try and do it
Didn't he
myself.
put the goop in the water that made Rita how she is?
Is that what happened? Did I miss that?
I think because I know he's responsible. We know he's responsible for Cyborg basically, Jane and Cliff,
Well,
right?
he's responsible for Cyborg because he worked with.
That's what I'm saying. He worked with
Yeah,
Silas,
Silas
and
to make up the program.
he
Right.
told Silas, "Yo, you should go ahead and do this, bro. You know, so you got this tech, do that." So, but I think with Rita, if I'm not mistaken, he was the reason the chemical is in the water that she falls in.
On purpose, or like it happened and then she fell in, and then he just kind of because that's the one thing I
No, the
couldn't
chemical
quite.
was in the water already.
Okay.
It was there. It was in the water when she was filming that area. So he knew somebody from that crew would possibly, if I'm not mistaken, it was because it wasn't like just an accident with Rita. Like Rita's isn't an accident.
Right.
You know, Larry, again, did he know that Larry was gonna go and get this whole negative spirit? Probably not.
Nah.
He didn't think of a whole nother personality.
Okay, so that was the one thing I kept getting confused about. Did he actually cause the car accident that caused Cliff to be in the situation, or he just took the brain and tried to save him? Because that's the part I always kept messing up.
I think I'm the same way with you because Cliff said he caused the accident.
He keeps saying that, but it just doesn't. As much of a dick as he is, and again, this is where it'll be helpful that I think when the season's over to do like a full rewatch of the entire series, just to see specifically if that's really the case or not. You know
Because
what
if
I
I'm
mean?
not mistaken, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Cliff's in the car with his wife. They're
Right.
arguing
Right.
in his sports car when it's raining.
Right.
And
So what? He caused the rain and sent a fucking thing to decapitate the whole family, bro. Like,
right? Like I don't know. I don't.
he's
I mean,
got
we got
some power, but I don't think he's got that much power. That's the one thing that I think is a little. That's some like Mr. Nobody shit, bro.
again. If you read the comics, speaking of Mr. Nobody, he ties into the Brotherhood of Dada.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
You know, but it's crazy because again, Alan Tudyk is doing a bunch of other shit, and so the painting is still around. If I'm not mistaken, that he's in. So like, who knows? Back to Kay and Jane. Kay's riding a bike, just happy. enjoying life. Like I said, the guy, she finally does the one thing she wants to do. It was only one thing she wanted to do was get some shoes.
Get some shoes, bro.
Get some shoes. And she eventually does, but in the process, when Jane's about to go back up on the underground to take over, Dr. Harrison and them are like, yo, what we think we need to have a discussion about what needs to happen. And then Jane basically is like, fuck you and your idle threats. Like, stop trying to threaten me. You're not tough. Like, basically told her, like, I'm gonna call you bluff. And Dr. Harrison was like, no more idle threats. You are just the therapist. Like,
I think it's gonna get ugly, bro. I'm gonna put this out there that this is definitely going to get real fucking ugly between Jane and the rest of the personalities, because before they wouldn't believe her when she kept saying, yo, this ain't Miranda. This is something way where they're like, nah, bitch, you just wild. Like, she out here really leading. And they allowed Jane to get thrown in the fucking well. And then they ass is looking real stupid when Jane got out the well and they're out here just doing puzzles like, like, so.
Did you just wait to do? That's crazy. What do you think is going to be the end result with Cliff with all this stuff? Like, again, first of all, clearly his Parkinson's is gone after taking every pill. Like, my man has fixed his brain all the way up, or is that a temporary fix?
I think it might be temporary, because didn't it seem like when Madame Rouge came to talk to him, he like kind of froze up and then went right back to typing real quick?
Well, I guess it's because he don't really fuck with her. I forgot what she was saying to him.
She was saying that she was like, just tell me what the fuck I want to know and then I'll leave you alone. And he was like, bitch. Just went back to
like, I don't want to deal with this shit. Like,
he was like, you better get the fuck up out my face. She's like, your friend took my time machine. And he's like, I'm talking to a cam girl.
And that's what I'm saying. I think Cliff's intention was like, I don't give a shit about none of that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, bitch, I got a poker game I got to buy in on. I got a game that's like Donkey Kong I'm playing. I got a cam girl that's just there with full clothes on that I'm paying money for, which was weird. I understand this is Doom Patrol. Okay, we have had sex ghosts. If you're gonna do the cam girl, y'all need to go all the way with it.
No, you can't just throw people out there being cam girls for real on the screen, sir. Even if it is HBO now on HBO MAX, you can't.
We have sex ghosts. We got people getting fucked.
I mean,
no,
okay. We did
titties bouncing.
We saw the titties at the beginning of the. Yeah, okay.
Like, again, it's not, I feel like you can just, if you're going to go all the way with, I'm one of those people that's like, if you're going to go with it and you have the leeway to, go with it. Yeah. That's my only thing. Go with it. Like, show, like, again, I know some people's like, yo, why you just want to be that? No. Cliff is paying for a cam girl. He needs, again, with somebody's credit card, with somebody's money that he got. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, flip side, though, to be honest with you, don't forget that not all, like, most cam girls are up there getting naked, but sometimes it's literally just to do exactly what she's doing and to have their attention to talk to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. But I think, again, the pop-ups, because of what we saw previously, again, Cliff seeing pop-ups, 9 times out of 10, you'll see a pop-up with someone in some scantily clad wardrobe. Can we say that?
She had on some booty shorts.
I'm just saying, I'm talking about what you see in a pop-up, motherfucker. I'm going before the actual cam girl. That's how they get you to see the cam girl, because they got the pictures like, don't you see half of a third of an areola? Don't you want to see the rest?
A half of a third of an. I can't with your ass, bro.
Look, don't you see a half of a third of an areola? You want to see the rest? $6.99 a minute. Like, go chime on in. You know what I'm saying? And so with that, but now, again, let's go back to the A story. Rita with the Bureau of Normalcy, with the Sisterhood of Dada. They finally take a stand. She finally gets them to take a stand. We sitting at these tables. I don't give a fuck what y'all do. And of course, everybody gets up and leaves. How dare they? Blah, 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 blah. After they have their whole piffle paffle moment, everything.
Piffle paffle.
Shouts out to the piffle paffle t-shirts that's about to come out. I feel like.
I'm sure they're making some piffle paffle t-shirts.
Would you buy a piffle paffle t-shirt?
I don't know, dude. I will tell you this. I was happy that they were being themselves. I got to be real with you. Coming up as a theater kid, bro, I got too many of them like ultra theater kid vibes from them being like, cha-cha, cha-cha, and not even like in an Arrested Development funny ass way, in like a legitimate cha-cha, cha-cha. Like I was like,
Theater
dude,
exercises and stuff.
bro, 1,000%. Because what the exercise would be is you start with something like they would say, like what are they like? What was the first word they picked that turned into like cha-cha?
It was fuck, I can't remember the word. I know what you're talking about because it started as
But it would start like you would have the word like time, 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 and it's supposed to literally be a representation of the sound and what the object actually stands for. I know the exercise entirely too well, and I was like, that's cute, but also no, thank you. But that's just me.
It sounds like, from what I'm gathering, ladies and gentlemen, maybe you all can ascertain the same thing, that my friend here, co-host, and someone I consider like family, like a brother, went through a bit of PTSD seeing this one.
Just a little bit,
Because this
just a
has,
little bit.
I remember, people I always, I'm always talking shit. People like, I'm triggered. I think you were hella triggered. You were like,
It was what, like, I don't know how to describe this in a way that it's not like I appreciated it for exactly what it was, and I hated the moment simultaneously. Like
okay.
that's the only way I can describe it, really.
Because, so let's just, throughout those moments again, Rita brings them together collectively as a group, right? She makes them officially the Sisterhood of Dada, because I don't even think they had labeled themselves that. I think Rita labels them that. Like, Rita knows who they are. They haven't given themselves. So again, remember how we talk about these things that are cycles and that are like secular in a sense? Like, she just, like, that's what that is with them, right?
Yeah.
And again, for the Piffle Paffle, all that, and Madame Rouge at the end, like,
I mean, again, that was I loved everything that the discovery of the Sisterhood of Dada stood for, including the fact that the Sisterhood of Dada does not come together if it's not for Rita. Like, they're
nope.
together, but they're literally chilling, just like, I'm just gonna be down. But because her mind is white, she doesn't know anything, and she's trying to figure shit out. She's just trying to live her life, and they're like, "Girl, you can't do that." And she's like, "Why?" And that made everyone else open up.
Well, because the one thing she has in common with all of them, they're all metas. That's the one thing that brings them together. They all know they're metas, but her, look, be you, be free, blah 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 blah. You're the Sisterhood of Dada. That's all I know. The Sisterhood of Dada. That's all I know. And that happens, and then you say all that together. And her saying she's going to stay there, and then you go back to the manor. You got Laura there, and all of a sudden she's getting frustrated, and you get something fired talking about we'll see you soon, piffle paffle, the eternal flagellation. Like, what do you think? I wanted to literally, I was waiting on this moment to ask you, what do you think is going on
With what? With the piffle paffle in the mansion?
and the fire and all that stuff? Yeah.
I mean, remember, they something clearly went wrong between the Sisterhood and Rouge. Something very clearly went wrong, and I think by the Doom Patrol going to go find them, as Laura asked them to go hunt down the Sisterhood, I think they have now found back where Laura is, and they're like, "Bitch, you about to catch this work." That's what I think is about to happen.
Do you think, now with that, do you think that by the end of season 3, that Madame Rouge, as wild as this sounds for anybody who knows Teen Titans and the comics, that Madame Rouge becomes a member of the Doom Patrol?
It'd be an interesting twist, but I think that's the thing. Remember, she's not Madame Rouge yet. She's still
Yeah,
Laura.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, she's still,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think because remember, Madame Rouge with her origins in the comics is the complete evil personification. Like to take it to a Dragon Ball Z place, that's King Piccolo and Kami. The complete evil in Laura becomes Madame Rouge, who takes over her mind from time to time and is like the persona that's out there. I think that once Madame Rouge wakes up, which is probably why she don't get along with the Sisterhood, I think everyone's gonna have a fucking problem.
So you think Madame Rouge, the Sisterhood might think, yo, she is too much, or like maybe Madame Rouge tried to kick the sisterhood out and was like, I just run all this. I'm just hypothesizing so many different
Yeah.
things.
I mean, think about it this way, man. It's one, we know Madame Rouge is a villain and an antagonist to the Doom Patrol through
Right.
all of our history of it. We know that, right? It's gonna have to come out one way or the other. I don't think they're gonna write her so far away from her character that doesn't happen. I just think it's gonna be a second before this all goes down. I think that's going to be kind of the big final coup de grace. She finally remembers who she is,
Mhm.
and by that I mean the Madame Rouge side of her wakes the fuck up. And
So do
I
you
think
think that's the
all
season
hell's gonna
finale?
probably, remember, Niles is like, you're a despicable piece of shit. Like, he's like, you are the worst human. I will
Yeah.
not help you. There is a reason why he said that. And despite when we get frustrated with Niles, where has Niles necessarily been wrong? Other than maybe not properly caring for his daughter all the way, but where has he been wrong about Mr.
I
Nobody's
mean,
a
but
proper
how do you properly care for a half cave girl that really doesn't age? And if you make her mad, she has imaginary friends that can destroy the world. How do you properly? I mean, you give her love and attention, yes, before anybody
But
says a thing.
you lock her in the bureau and then lock her away on Danny, and then, like, you don't actually spend time with her. Like, if you're, the point is you want to stay,
Yeah,
like, I get part of it is he was trying to go get what he needed to live forever so he could be with her and help her out. But even knowing all of that, he just didn't. I don't think he handled that shit very well, bro. I just really don't think he did.
oh, I agree. I agree. So let's sum this all up. If you got to
Yeah.
get this episode a rating, as we always do, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the highest, what you give it?
I would probably say a 4.9, bro. Like, I genuinely love this because you know how I'm gonna be about anything that's really getting at the core of any sort of, like, people trying to get fair treatment and equal rights. And so to see that play out, I thought it was a masterstroke. I think the only reason it gets minus 0.1 for me
Oh my
for the
God,
whole
here we
piffle
go.
paffle shit. Everything else, like, look, that's the thing. Once you have lived in that theater world and you've been through that, you understand what, like, and I guarantee you the writers, when they wrote this, which, bad shout out to the writers and all the work they've done this season, I guarantee you someone's like, yo, you remember that theater game we used to play? Hell yeah. Let's make them do that. Oh, that'll be fire. And I guarantee you, for everyone else that doesn't know that game, they go, wow, you know what? They're bonding in kind of their own strangers, their own uniqueness. They're really having fun or whatever. The theater kids that love that shit were like, that's my shit. I remember that game. And my ass like, like, but that's just me. Don't let my own feelings of that game, because I just knew niggas that took that shit too seriously. That took that
Right.
as a law, and they wouldn't just do it in class. They'd be doing that shit in the cafeteria, and I'm like, can you not? Like, please? So that's why them even doing it in the cafeteria, I'm like, God damn it.
You sound like how I feel as a stand-up around improvisers sometimes. You act as if everything has to be a scene. Like, if you don't shut the fuck up, like, so give me an object, my fist. All right, a place, your face. Like, you say, like, now you got to put 2 and 2 together, me knocking you the fuck out. For me, I'm gonna give this probably one of the highest ratings I've given this season, for 5. Now, one of the, I would say the drawback that would have normally made it lower is
you get it a what?
a 5.
No.
And I'd say the drawback that would have made it lower in those cases is the multiple stories that, again, convolution is one of the things that we're trying to avoid. But like when we did episode 4, I think it was, and we talked to the writer who based through Twitter, and she was like, she's learning how, they're learning how to do that. This is a show where somewhat you got to juggle 5 characters, and you don't have the 5 of them together. So of course they're going to be 5 different points. You know what I'm saying? We've had situations where you have 2 together at one time, 3 together at one time, and so it always works in that regard.
It was just the last episode. It was the introduction of the Dada.
What do you mean?
As far as, like, the writer you were talking about who was talking to us on Twitter.
Oh, was it 5? I thought it was. I don't know.
It was last week. It was last week's.
You know what? I think because we've taken so long to do this, I
think part of it too is you re-dropped 4 because someone, I think she asked about it as an example, and then you dropped 5 like an hour later, so you probably confused yourself.
Thank you. That's exactly. Also, my brain is off right now. But beside that, but also I give it a 5 because the showing. I'm always for comics being used and comic book stories being used what they're meant to be used for. They're allegories.
Absolutely.
They're allegories of real life in the best way
Absolutely.
possible. And this talking about the discrimination of metas again, like we brought up earlier, mutants in Marvel. To see the black woman make the exact statements
Oh,
that we are.
dude.
That
I don't
was,
know.
I think,
I don't know if that was the writer. I don't know if that was casting or the director, but whoever, if it was all of them at once, that was brilliant because it made me viscerally angry. I was like, it's 1917. How your black ass not probably also getting this work and you go straight up do this shit to somebody
which
else?
is a weird. Again, let's. You like 30 years removed from chains. Like it's 1917. Like
Nigga said you were a Jesus away
you are
from
you are a salvation away.
No, but I'm saying, Jesus was 33. You were
31, yeah,
literally a
33.
Jesus. You were a
You are
Jesus
Jesus
away from
away.
being in chains, and you out here, ooh.
I mean, but again, what I was gonna say is, if I had to take an educated guess, this was written out. A member of the bureau says that line, and it probably was just a regular woman, and somebody said, "What if we made it a black woman?" But then somebody was like, "Okay, if we do that, we need to have a few other black people in the bureau because." You don't want that one woman, like black woman, to be the Steven from Django. Like you don't want her to be the Calvin. No, Calvin. Like you don't want her to be. You don't want her to be the Steven. So you was like, we got to sprinkle a few other, like, because it was of course it's 1917, so it's always gonna be a bunch of old white dudes with little dicks and white dudes in general, because those are the ones that always had the egos. But they sprinkled in different people. So again, that line meant so much because again, one of the members of the sisterhood is a black dude. There is a Indian or Hindu, which please forgive me, woman. I mean, you can say East Asian woman of darker skin. So again, all these things to say, and again, the allegory again, like, yo, we don't care if y'all got white members, y'all are metas no matter what, and that takes precedent over this.
Yep.
And that again, watching Robot, I not gonna lie to you, hand of God, if you show me Cliff Steele masturbating, I'm going to ask that this show be nominated for an Oscar. And I know it's TV. I know what the fuck I said.
I'm about to leave. Wrap it up. All right.
Nope.
I'm not gonna let you do this nonsense.
Why not? Like, look, the man bought a cam girl.
What does that have to do? Thank you so much for watching this review. We be doing them every week. Of course, we will be back for episode 7 of season 3 of Doom Patrol. Do not hesitate to come and join us over on Blerds in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time on Twitch and YouTube, youtube.com/Blerds in the Hood, BLERDS, the letter N, THEHOOD, twitch.tv/Blerds in the Hood as well. That's it. We're getting out of here, so y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you next time.